Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to my Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you are great. So I came across a video, and that video she really nailed it. Though I still do not care about them because they messed up during election, right? So she was talking about Make America Great and the concept and everything surrounding Make America Great. And right from the onset, I have always have this mixed feeling when it comes to Make America Great, and I have always talked about it, how I feel about it, because getting to know about Black people and everything surrounding Black people, I absolutely know and understand that there was never a great time, or there was never a time it was great for people that look like me. And each time I hear that it means you are taking them back to the beginning of everything that happened to them, right? So it is back for them to start all afresh, to experience the bad experiences their ancestors went through. So there is nothing like Make America Great Again. I do not buy into that. And that is also one of the reasons why each time I see some Black conservatives that actually came out to say that Black people were better off or were doing better during Jim Crow, and I asked the person, what Jim Crow are you talking about? Is it the Jim Crow that I have read and understood some certain things about it? I know that I am not 100% perfect when it comes to Black history, but there are some people should never come out to gaslight themselves over, because it was a time of segregation. If only you people understand what Black people went through during segregation and all that, you will never have the guts to come out and say something like that. Let's get into this video.
Y'all remember when Jordan Klepper was going around and he was doing street interviews, like people with MAGA hats, he would ask them, well, when was America great? And they had varying answers like 1950s, 1960s, 1940s, 1930s. Did you know the answer to that question has never been subjective? It's literal. There is a date that the Trump administration wants us to go back to. Hold on, it's unhinged. Let me just sum up how I found it, because I should have known this. Like, it's right in front of us the whole time. I actually feel pretty dumb. But there's so much propaganda that comes out of the right that I just filtered shit out. Anyway, so I stumbled across like an article on Trump, and it had a link in the article. And I followed the link. I wonder why. It brought me to a website of a committee. And I'm like, this website hasn't been updated in like forever. So I went looking as to why. Well, it turns out that Joe Biden, on his very first day in office, 86th the committee, immediately just dissolved it. On the surface, it didn't look all that dangerous, right? Because we knew about this patriotism shit that they were on about. Y'all, they don't want to adjust the course of this country. They want to reset us to 1776. The website is 1776projectpac.com. And the entire reason it existed is because of Trump, or his handlers, Heritage Foundation architects. Anyway, Trump's puppeteers had somehow found out about this other project called 1619 Project. Just to sum it up, the 1619 Project is a New York Times Magazine series that retells American history by centering the experiences of enslaved Africans and their descendants. The contributors of this project basically argue that the country was founded actually in 1619 when the first slaves came over to Jamestown. It revolves around the idea of the impact that slavery has had on the United States. If you want to, you can go read on it. It's interesting, but it's controversial, obviously. Anyway, all that to say that Trump somehow got this idea in his head. He heard about this 1619 project. And his little puppeteers there, the Heritage Foundation folk, they're like, oh, hell no. We can't have that. We can't talk about slavery. So his little architects helped found the 1776 committee, and the committee put out a report, and the report is absolutely mental. First of all, not one single person on that committee had a background in history. So if you go and read this thing, the little inconsistencies make sense. The founder of the committee's name is James Gradusky. Does that sound familiar? Gradusky was that idiot, I think it was on a CNN panel, where he told the Muslim journalist Mehdi Hassan, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. That guy. I'm trying to hurry up. This is how I take my notes. That's why I can't ever get shit done. On the website, there's a letter from the founder, and it starts out, already, it's bullshit. I founded the 1776 Project PAC in 2021 after an incident at my godson's school. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's like a friend of a friend of a friend. Ain't nothing like that happened. His teacher read the books Race Cars and Something Happened in Our Town, a child's story about racial injustice, to his 4th grade class, followed by a lecture about how police are racist. Fucking bullshit. So right out the gate, this guy's a damn liar. Alright, bear with me. 1776 Committee. Patriotic education. On the About section, it says, on a mission to change education one school board at a time. That's terrifying. When Americans declared independence in 1776, they changed the course of history. Well, no shit. But the wheels were set in motion long before the war. Reckon John Adams wrote that it all began in the minds and the hearts of the people. Included, of course, in the hearts and the minds of people were, the concepts of like drowning witches. Oh, and the slave thing. Also included is what we now call the manifest destiny, where they thought they had the divine right to pillage and burn their way across the West. Those people. So we're not going to sugarcoat that. Our mission, reigniting the spark in the spirit of the Revolutionary War. Currently, students are being taught to judge themselves and their peers by category of race and gender rather than character, intelligence, and individuality. Are you fucking kidding me? In 1776, that's exactly what they did, was categorize people by gender and race. They don't want people to be individuals either. We sure as hell don't want somebody like Gurdusky teaching our kids about character. Half the country elected a domestic terrorist as president. They have no right to guide anybody on the concepts of morality. This idiot. It's like, racism isn't born in the classroom. It's born at home. The report it goes on, and it's unhinged. It's bananas. It goes on to say stuff like, yeah, Washington owned slaves, but there was a seed of doubt in his mind that maybe selling human beings was a bad idea, maybe inhumane, so he abolished it as soon as he could, the whole slave trade. Wrong. And they use a justification like, well, everybody was doing it. Everybody was buying and selling slaves. Quote, because slavery has been the rule rather than the exception throughout human history. Remember, we're talking about 1776, but slavery wasn't actually abolished until June 19th, 1865. It also says many Americans labor under the illusion that slavery was somehow uniquely American evil, but we aren't talking about anything but America. Anyway, I'll paraphrase. Evil progressives came along and said, hey, it's not 1776 anymore. Maybe we can tweak some things to kind of fit our modern society. Oh, absolutely not. We can't have that. But those evil progressives did it anyway. So in the 1920s, they began building a shadow government. The founders always opposed government unaccountable to the people and without constitutional restraint, yet it continues to grow around us. Yes, it does. The section on racism and identity politics it started out okay, but it quickly devolved into this concept of black privilege. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is the biggest dissonance. The national renewal includes restoring patriot education that teaches the truth about America. That doesn't mean ignoring our faults in the past, but viewing our history clearly and wholly with reverence and love. And I shit you not. Then it goes on to say that actually teaching the whole truth is a political agenda that corrupts our children. In the Scholarship of Freedom section, it calls universities hotbeds of anti-Americanism, libel, and censorship, with more anti-education propaganda. Oh, we don't need educated people in this country. And the reverence for law section, you can just throw the entire section out. And then it goes on to say that Christianity is the glue holding the country together, and that without it we can't stand and enjoy true freedom and equality. I wonder what they think of countries like Finland, Denmark, and Norway that is like 80-something% atheistic. Why am I talking about this right now? 1776 report and the committee? Because the 1776 report was incorporated into Agenda 45. It couldn't slip by Biden the first time, but they just renamed it. And now that's what our government wants to enforce. White Christian nationalism. I think everybody should read the 1776 report. It's so unhinged, but it shows the dissonance that we have in society right now and how off the rails we're about to go.
How did we get to a point where we treated other human beings as slaves and we're okay with that? When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them. So it's to teach us in the woke world to open up and accept the possibilities that our privilege has created blind spots for us. And maybe I haven't seen what is really happening yet in all my years. When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? When was it ever great in America for the African American?
So Bryan Cranston has stirred up a lot of controversy recently on the internet with an interview highlighting something that a lot of places have studied for some time, talking about how the phrase "Make America Great Again" and other phrases similar tend to highlight the lack of empathy we're always seeing from the right, and their overall consistent inability to step outside of their own experience and acknowledge others. Because at its core, that is what empathy is, the ability to share someone else's feelings or experience by imagining what it would be like to be in that person's situation. Which is kind of the main reason I always say, I have some friends and acquaintances that are kind of on the right, but I would never date someone on the right because someone who has a lot of empathy is important to me in dating, and cue all of the crying boys who totally don't care in my comments. And the phrase itself, "Make America Great Again," perfectly embodies their utter lack of empathy. Because it brings up the great question that they can never seem to answer is, when was America great for absolutely everybody and not just straight white men is the catch. I mean, African Americans weren't even technically freed until 1869. They couldn't really all even vote, and not even voting safely at this point, till 1870. They're still fighting being able to vote safely and easily to this day. The Civil Rights Act wasn't passed until 1964, not that long ago. Married women weren't even allowed to own their own property or keep their own working wages until 1848. We definitely couldn't even vote until 1920. Even though technically we were supposed to be able to have our own bank accounts in the 60s, many banks would still not allow them to be signed off without a husband. And without a husband, we weren't allowed to own credit cards until 1974. Which is wild when you consider that's close to 10 years off from when my oldest sibling was born. And many of us weren't even allowed to be married legally everywhere until 2015, and they're still fighting that constantly to this day. When you say the phrase "Make America Great Again," who does that include? Because it excludes all women, all people of color, LGBTQ communities. Do you want to do the math on who's left in that equation? Yeah, it's people who have no ability to see outside of their lived experience and understand that America wasn't really ever that amazing for the rest of us.
I've asked the question a million times, when was America great, right? Because Make America Great Again. And I think I know when it was great again. So it would make sense that America was great between 2000 and 2004, because that's when George W. got an amazing economy from Clinton. And then, of course, while George W. was in office over those 8 years, his policies crashed the banking system, creating too big to fail. Then we get Obama, who spends 8 years getting the economy back on track. Then he gives the keys over to Trump, right? So from 2016 to 2020, because we're coming out of another Democrat that fixed another Republican's problems, we have a great economy again. So that's when America is great again, is during Trump's 2016 to 2020. Now, Trump triples the deficit, 27 trillion now versus 9. We hit a wall with COVID, shut down our economy for 2 years. Biden has to come in and now fix Trump's mess. And now he's running on making America great again, assuming going back to 2000, 2004 or 2016 to 2020. Both great times in our lives that came after 8 years of a Democrat. So what I see is that they should have waited another 4 years to pick up that 8-year economy that Biden or the Democrats would have fixed. And then they would have made America great again. But you're not going to be able to fix this problem or make it like it was before because nobody has solved those problems for you. So to go back to when it was great in 2016 or 2000, I just don't think it's going to happen because you didn't give the Democrats enough time to actually turn around.
Which period was America great that we're trying to replicate? Which era was it? Tell me.
I think I'll answer your question.
I'm
ready to answer your question.
Which era was it?
What?
Which era was so great?
Here's the thing that you guys are forgetting. America was actually one of the slavery was all over the world. All over the world.
Man,
America was,
question.
I'm not saying it's okay, so why are you saying, oh?
Hey, man.
America was one of the first countries.
I want to like you so bad.
I'm
Because
trying to
you're
answer
so
your question.
smart. I want to like you so
If I
much.
can't answer the
I want to
question,
hear
it
you.
doesn't
I want to
matter.
be able to hear them. I want to be able to hear
If I
them.
can't answer the question and you're just going to boo when I say slavery was all over the world, which is a fact, why are you booing a fact?
Because you're making light of.
No, I'm not.
You're making light
I
of
haven't
the
gotten into my
enslavement
points. I'm not
of
making-
people that look like us. You can't make light of that. That ain't nothing you
I haven't
breeze
even
over.
finished the sentence. How am I making
You
light of
started
anything?
with some bullshit.
Okay.
Make America great again.
Make America great again.
Make America great again.
And we will make America great again.
Ronald Reagan for president. Let's make America great again.
Greatest majority. Yeah. So the truth is that some people really do not understand when they say make America great again, or they understood but they choose not to talk about it, or they choose not to speak the truth when it comes to this concept of make America great. A lot has happened to Black people during slavery and post-slavery, right? And their experiences so far has not been the best even after slavery to this moment, because there is a certain kind of system that was set or that is set to oppress them, and it is still oppressing them to this very moment. Each time I hear make America great, I absolutely know that they do not mean anything great, or they do not mean anything good for Black people. Because what do you mean by making America great again when or your plan is to take people that look like me back to slavery? I am sorry to say this, but that is how it sounds. Because the time they are talking about taking let's go back to 96, 1970 something, 1950 something, and all that. I mean, like, I am just giving as example, was not a great period for people like that look like me. So why do you want them to take them back? Why do you want to take them back to that period that was the most horrifying period in their lives? Of all time, of all things to do, it is taking people back to the time their lives were nothing, or their lives were kind of shattered, families separated. I mean, so many horrifying things happening. I don't know if I am minding worse, but I just also do not want to start feeling bad, because sometimes when I sit back and talk about what Black people went through during slavery and after slavery, I get hurt. And sometimes I speak out of order. And I am trying as much as I can to keep myself in check, right? See, one of the best things that happened to me was getting to know about Black history, reading their experiences, connecting to them, and listening to them, and learning a whole lot from their experiences. Now, they keep saying make America great. Was it the time that you know what? There is nothing great about past period. And if you really want to do something great for the nation, you can do every other thing, but not wanting to tell us that you want to make things great. Because being great was also, they also want to tell us, it's just really amazing how they wake up and think they want to gaslight themselves, because coming out to say that is like gaslighting Black people. But each time I see them trying to gaslight people, I say that they are gaslighting themselves, because they are not being truthful. Because if you are being truthful, you definitely will know that that period was not a good period for people that look like me. They want to take them back to slavery, take them back to Jim Crow, take them back to all the most horrifying things. When Tulsa, Oklahoma was burned, the massacre happened, Rosewood, and some other Black communities. Or you want to take them back to when segregation was a thing that people that look like me couldn't even get a house. You want to take them back to when they were picking something. Until this very moment, every other people already got their reparations. And people that look like me do not deserve reparations, because you all feel like we do not deserve anything great. Even people that did not experience Holocaust in American soil also got reparations. But each time Black people talk about their experiences and how they've been treated, you all want to wake up and gaslight them and tell them to shut up, because it is only in Black communities, it's only Black people that I hear people tell them not to talk about their history or not to talk about their experiences, because their experiences does not matter. There is something that I saw, what's his name again? I forgot his name, but he is Nigerian American also, and he is actively Team Godfrey or something like, I don't know if that is correct. He was saying that it's only Black people that they wake up and gaslight and think they will get away with it. They tell them not to talk about their history because their history is violent. We are not supposed to read your history, because why do we have to why do we have to read your history? Woke is where woke goes to die. Like anything that got to do with Black people is just don't talk about it. And he said, why do you tell people not to talk about their history? Because when you go to a doctor, the first thing a doctor asks you for is your medical report, or they pull your medical report to know how they are going to attend to you. But no, you all don't want Black people to pull their medical report. Why? Because it hurts your feelings. It hurts your feelings, and it keeps people that look like me unalive. Because when you people do not educate yourself, your offspring and the ones coming up do some nasty things. I am not going to stop talking about it. And Black people are not also going to stop talking about their history, because their history is their trademark. If you tell me to stop talking about my history, how do you want me to function? My history is my identity. So what she saw, what she read, I can understand. Because our life does not matter, because anything about us does not count. Because why will it count? See you all in my next video. Bye for now.